Namaskar, Adab, Sat Shri Akal, a very warm welcome everyone, and good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. This will be a short and sweet, but a very important session. We've been fortunate enough that we'll be speaking today on this session with advocate R. Varadarajan. He is the advocate who is going to take up the case for Vijay Chitra. Like we did a session last week where we talked about all the scenarios, everything that happened or could have happened in that murder mystery for Vijay Chitra. This session, we are going to have more like a Q&A, understand from his perspective how he sees this case. This will be a session in English predominantly, but if you have questions in any language, you can post them. I will open the stream. You can join the stream, and we will address those answers, or advocate will answer those in English or Tamil. And if anybody wants to know in Hindi, we can definitely translate it for you. But the main agenda of this particular session is just to focus on what could have happened, what is the future, and what we as people who are following up or fighting for justice for Chitra can do to help this cause. So without wasting any more time, I'm going to get advocate sir into the stream. Hello sir, namaste, Jai Hind.
Good evening.
Good evening. And first of all, thank you so much. I know you just had a session a few minutes ago or maybe an hour ago with another fellow, buddy, Dubai Tamilian, and that was predominantly in Tamil. And we, on our side, on this channel, we want to take this forward along with Dubai Bhai, because what he's doing is phenomenal. He is bringing awareness to this particular issue, this cause, and we are just following his lead on this particular platform as well. So as part of that, it's an honor to have you to understand what's going on. What do you think? What do you feel this case will kind of eventually lead us to, and how we can, support or do whatever we can to get justice for Chitra. So first question, and the first thing that I would ask you would be, if you could tell us a little bit about this particular case and how did you end up kind of working for this particular issue.
See, for any case to get the conviction, medical examination, that is post-mortem report, is the base in which the court of law will give the conviction. So according to the post-mortem report, the doctors clearly says that even though most of us have got the doubt that it should have been a murder, but there is no substantial evidence to prove that it was murder, because unfortunately that has we didn't get any such valuable evidence. The postmortem says that there is no external or internal injury, and the postmortem also says that the death is due to hanging. And there is a very big question whether the postmortem has been done in a proper way in India. And my answer would be an emphatic no, because you said that I'm an advocate. Yes, that is true. For the past 15 years, I've got total 40 years of service. And for the past 15 years only, I have been an advocate. And previously, I was in police for 25 years. So I know how the investigation will be done, what are all the strengths and weaknesses in the police investigation. So the point is that most of the postmortem in India, they are not done it in a proper way, because I have been in the um,
Police.
along with the doctors in the postmortem session. And what they will do, the person who will dissect the deceased body will be the person is a compounder who has been in charge of the mortuary. Now, mortuary, most of them will be illiterate, and they will not know. They will not. They will be below the standard. They will not know any basic formalities, and the only qualification they have got is that they will approach the dead body, very boldly. They will insect the body. What the doctor will do, they will have a kerchief in his what is that face, and just peeping into the dead body, they will write it. Very, very, very lethargically. I have seen so many cases. This has also come to the notice of the Madurai High Court recently. Madurai High Court has asked a question to the doctors: how you people have given 122 postmortem report in a single day? How is it possible?
Wow.
How is it possible? Later, it was revealed that the doctors had put cut and paste. After examining a single body, whatever the report is, they have made cut and paste and they have put it in all the subsequent postmortem report. Then only recently, Madurai High Court has ordered that in future, all the postmortem should be videography should be taken for all the postmortem. That is what Madurai High Court has said. So this is what is happening. So most of the postmortem report, they are not exposing whatever the actual facts of the case. I think this might have also happened in Chitra case, because the postmortem was done after 24 hours. Before the postmortem should have been done before the rigor mortis set in. Then only we could collect some material facts, and it has been done after 24 hours. That is also the regular format, stating that no external injury, no internal injury, death due to hanging. This is how the court postmortem report says. With the help of this postmortem report, we cannot get any conviction for Hemant Kumar under the charges of murder. So now the case is heading towards the suicide. That is, Mr. Hemant Kumar has involved in abetment of suicide. 306 IPC, the FIR was registered. And even under this 306 IPC, police says that 60 days have been passed after Hemant Kumar was sent to jail. According to the CRPC says that in a particular, in some cases where the sentence has been 10 years, the charge sheet has to be filed within 60 days. The police did not file the charge sheet in 60 days. They have to, in a very sensitive case like this, they have been very lethargic. Postmortem has not been filed in 60 days. As a result, Hemant Kumar was released on bail. And during the hearing of the bail petition, and the police had informed a shocking information. The police had given to the court stating that there is no material evidence to say that Hemant Kumar has been involved even in the abetment of suicide. That is what CCB Central Crime Branch has informed to the court. They say that because everybody is talking about the murder, but police says that even the abetment of suicide, we don't have any material evidence. As a result, he has been released on bail. Now he has come out. So this is how the investigation has been going on. So what we are doing is we are taking steps to transfer the investigation to the crime branch CID. It is crime branch CID is an effective investigation wing in Tamil Nadu, and that is why we have been taking steps to transfer the case to CBCA. And initially, the case was filed by the local police station, and subsequently it was transferred to Central Crime Branch. But nothing, what is that? No important evidence has been found out by the police, because even while examining the scene of crime, suppose there is a murder, or otherwise there is a suicide. What we will do, when I was police officer, the observation of the scene of crime is very important. because that is where you are going to collect the evidences. So while entering into a scene of crime, we will be very, very cautious. We should not be disturbed, because the first thing which we will be doing in to bring the dog, because there will be the human smell. Whoever has was there inside the room, there will be some human smell. To find out whether any third person had come into the scene, we will be examining. We will be allowing only the dog to enter inside. After the dog, forensic team will go inside, and they will be finding out whether any um, blood or other hairs, anything is there, and whether there is any injury. Photography will be taken, and in most of the um, suicide cases, the tongue will come out. In some of the cases, the two eyes will slightly come.
Yeah.
We should observe all these things, whether it is a suicide or whether it is a murder. And the footprint, because most of the victims, they will be using stools or chairs to get hanging. So we have to find out whether footprint is there in the particular chair or particular what is a stool or particular. She has used a cot to get hanging. So all these footprints have to be examined, and which they have failed to do, because I've got information from my colleagues that nothing has been done. And after that, we will be seeing even the knot used for hanging, the rope, the position of knot will speak a lot to the police officer. If a person has hanged himself, and if he puts a knot, it will be in a particular direction. If a third party puts the knot, it will be in a different direction. We will be examining closely all these things. So in the case of Chitra, the tongue has not come up, the two eyes, that was intact, and the knot they have not examined properly, because I was not at the scene of crime. But she has got some bleeding at the cheeks, and there is no good, but there is no ample explanation about the injury in the cheeks. In the postmortem, they did not tell anything about that. And in the photograph, you can also see a bulge on the forehead of Chitra, and there was no explanation in the postmortem about that. And the another blunder which they have done is they have cremated the body. They have cremated the dead body, which should not be done in murder and uh, suicide cases. Body should not be cremated. Suppose subsequently, if you come to know that there is some suspicion with regard to a murder, we should take out the dead body again, and we have to go for another postmortem. So that cannot be done in this case, because Chitra's parents, according to their tradition, and they used to cremate the body. So they asked police permission. Police should not have given permission to cremate the body, because in such cases, only burial will be good, because if there is any suspicion in future, that re-postmortem will be very useful. So that clue has also been exhausted. So now the only option is that, and I have seen the confession statement of um, Hemant Kumar. Hemant Kumar himself admits that there was some quarrel between Chitra and Hemant Kumar, because Hemant Kumar was stating to the Chitra, he is a very big businessman. He has got so many connections. He has got valuable properties. Only based on that, Chitra has decided to marry Hemant Kumar. So after that, after the marriage has been registered, they had arranged for a reception. And in the meanwhile, Chitra's mother, he had inquired about Hemant Kumar in the several circles. And every of them, all of them told that he was a fraudulent person, and he didn't have any business at all. And he was addicted to alcohol. Everything was exposed only at a later stage. So mother, on the day of suicide, mother was informing to Chitra that I have got a very bad report about that guy. I think you were cheated by him. This is what Chitra's mother had informed to Chitra. So based on that, Chitra was calling to Hemant Kumar, and he was fighting even through phone on the day of suicide, asking him, I think you have blood. You have bluffed me, because we have got very loose information against you. For which Hemant Kumar said, you come to the room, we will discuss. After finishing the shooting, She went to the room. There was a very big quarrel between Hemant Kumar and Chitra, and subsequently she got herself hanged. So what the in the confession statement, Hemant Kumar says that yes, there was a quarrel. I shouted at her, and I was telling her, "You go and die." All these things he had himself had confessed. So this will be very much enough to prove that it is a
But
abetment of suicide case.
right.
But police is coming to the court and says that in spite of his own submission, police is coming and stating to the court that no, there is no ample evidence to prove that it is an abetment of suicide. So that is why, as a previous as a ex-police officer and as a present advocate, what I feel is the investigation has not been done in a proper way. There is a strong reason to ask for a re-investigation by a better agency, which may be CBCI. So we are taking all the efforts to file a case before the High Court for asking transfer of investigation. Another important point is that marriage itself is bogus. I have found out the marriage itself is bogus because they had registered the marriage in a sub-register office. And I have got my own doubt whether the registration of marriage is genuine or bogus. So I have made my own investigation because it was stated in the register office stating that the marriage was solemnized in a particular address in a particular hotel. The name of the hotel was also mentioned in the marriage register. When I sent my people to that address, there was no such hotel at all. So the marriage itself was bogus. Hemant Kumar was a fraudulent person. He had cheated Chitra. No such marriage was held. But why we are insisting is that now the property rights will be coming. And if he will be claiming that I am the husband of Chitra, so I have got the property. Chitra has got a property in her name. And her parents is in very poor condition, and she had bought an Audi car which was taken away by the bank for since she had not the family had not paid the EMI, and she had bought a flat, and that EMI was also not paid by the parents. The bank is going to confiscate even the flat. Now they are in the street. They are very poor people. Chitra has not saved anything for the family. She has got only one house. It will cost about 1 crore. Now we have to escape this house from Hemant Kumar because he says that he got married. Now we have to prove, and I have given a complaint to the commissioner stating that the marriage itself is bogus. You file a case, another case against for cheating and everything. You file a case against Hemant Kumar and let the property be saved from him because he is not the legal. He cannot be the legal heir, so he should not get any legal heir certificate. This is also we have been doing separately. So apart from the suicide, this also should be
Yeah,
done
this
to
is
save the
this
property.
is yeah, this is really shocking because we assume there are people, there are agencies who are doing their job well and they're doing it right. But hearing what you're telling me, or you're telling all of us right now, it's really shameful, and it's not something new. We heard almost similar things in Sushant Singh Rajput case. How the police kind of managed the entire investigation, how they took all the evidences, and how they were all botched up and everything, and including the postmortem. So I will have specific questions, but let me just add few more people who were, I think, there with you on the other session as well, so that if there are other specific questions, I will. So first of all, thank you again, once again, Tamil Bhai and Isaac Bhai. Welcome again.
வணக்கம் பிரதர், வணக்கம்
Vanakkam.
சார்.
Vanakkam, vanakkam.
All right. So I just wanted to keep you guys on the screen as well, so that if there are anything specific questions, and this will cater to the English audience, of course. So we will definitely do that. Now, so the first question, Advocate Sir, that I have for you is, now you are telling us that the way this thing happened, the police, how they are trying to, uh, now, isn't it that we've lost Chitra and her body? Now, if you look at the post-mortem, nothing can be done anymore. She's gone. What are the other things that are left now to prove that this is not a murder? This is at least, like you said, abetment to suicide situation. But we don't have any more evidences left. don't you feel that this is a lost case in that case, or can something be done?
You want to answer for me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's what I already explained. And we cannot proceed in the, what is that, under section 302 IPC, that is under murder. And we cannot proceed the case because the other side, that is the accused side, they will be arguing to the court that postmortem is the basic evidence in which, based on which the conviction is to be given. Postmortem, and postmortem says that it is a clear case of suicide and there is no external and internal injuries. That is the question of getting conviction under 302 IPC. So that is completely ruled out because I'm telling this after going through all the records, FIR, I have gone through the FIR, I have gone through the postmortem report, I have gone through all the photographs which have been taken at the scene of crime, and everything. Police also had made a statement before the court that we don't have any solid evidence to prove that even under the abetment of suicide angle. Police says that even under abetment of suicide, we don't have any evidence. With regard to murder, police, they are not opening their mouth. They are not expressing any views. So as far as the present scenario is concerned, my opinion is that there is no strong evidence to prove that. Even though there is a strong suspicion of murder, there is no strong evidence to prove that it is a case of murder. So this is the present position.
Right. And then if that is the case, there is nothing that can be done. Now, what about even for suicide? Now, for suicide, again, I'm not the legal person, but I'll still try to kind of ask a very simple question. Now, suicide, most of the times it is basically if you find a suicide note or some kind of evidence that, you can prove it as even a suicide. So if there was no suicide note, then why are still people or the agencies trying to say that this is still a suicide? On what basis?
Yeah, only based on the postmortem report, police had come. Police says that postmortem report is very important. Even though that has been done in India in a very lethargic way, as is, police has been relying only on the postmortem report. That is a convenient way for them to make a decision. Because if it is not a murder, it is very convenient for the police because they did not peruse the case. Because the case will be going in an ordinary way. If it is a murder case, something will be serious. So they say that postmortem says it is not, it is a death is due to a hanging. So they make the conclusion. So when the postmortem report is against for a murder case, only the next option is we should go only for 306 IPC, which they have been registered. Police have been registered. Police have registered the case only under 306 IPC because they say that there is no solid evidence because I have gone through the records. But one humble submission is that call records, that is called all the conversations would be recorded by the network people. All the network people, they have been recording all the conversations of the person. In most of the murder cases, they have utilized the call records and closed the case. But in murder case, in this particular Chitra's case, I have strong suspicion that whether police had gone through the audio recording of the Chitra during the fag end of the suicide, the period of suicide, because the last 2 or 3 calls are messages or the WhatsApp messages. Because everybody, whenever anybody tries to commit the suicide, they will try to talk with somebody else who are very close to them. They will be sending at least some messages. They will be sending some WhatsApp messages. And all these messages, all these WhatsApp chat, and all the call records, that is the audio recording, should have been very clearly examined. I think this was not even very clearly in the actor's case.
Sushant. Yeah.
Even in his case, this has been because even in that case, police, CBI, they have been proceeding only in a drug angle. Now they have left out about the cause of the suicide or cause of the murder. They have left out. What they are proceeding is who all have got the drug, who are all responsible for the. Only in this way, that investigation has been going, I think.
Right.
And here also, police have recovered a small drug from Chitra's handbag. And I don't know whether it was used by Hemant Kumar or Chitra. And by showing that small drug, police have been intimidating Chitra's mother that whether your daughter has got the habit of using the drugs. And she got, what is that, nervous, Chitra's mother. And then I was talking to the police officer and I was telling them, you just proceed with your investigation, why you are involving in all such intimidation. Because only during the investigation they will be doing all such tactics to close the case. That is what is happening here also. That is why the call history, the audio recording during the final moments of Chitra has not been examined in a proper way. That is why we are going to ask for CBCID investigation. CBCID people will do this because they are very expertise.
So, one, and again, I'll let others also ask the question, but, maybe one or two more questions that I'll ask. One of the questions is, I don't know how closely have you watched or listened to the case, that Sushant Singh Rajput case, but, as a common man, we all find a lot of similarities between the two. Now, in this case, looking at Chitra's case and looking at Sushant's case, where do you think, I'm going to take a little bit of a turn, where do you think, you already mentioned Sushant's case is now being more on the drug angle rather than the murder angle now. But do you feel that the way it is moving along, we will get justice even for Sushant in that case? Or do you feel it also is kind of losing track? What's your take on that?
That is why, because I think that has been handed over to the CBI.
Right.
Now CBI has been investigating. As far as I am concerned, I want to tell very clearly here, because I have seen so many CBI investigations in my police career. CBI is an organization which was meant to examine the complaints against the central government offices. Why it was formed? In order to inquire the complaints made against the central government offices. They have got no expertise in criminal investigation. That is why you may be thinking that it has gone to the CBI, they will do it in a proper way. You can see so many investigation findings in a particular investigation in Tamil Nadu. An advocate son was murdered. Advocate had not got faith in the local police. He had got for CBI investigation. After 6 months, CBI said we could not find out the culprit. This is what CBI said. After that, the court was very much worried because it was the case of an advocate son. Madras High Court, what he said, they have formed a CBI team. Madras High Court itself had formed a CBI team by appointing a retired CBI director. And after prolonged investigation, again CBI filed the report stating that we could not find out the criminals. This is what's happening. That is why Jayalalitha has announced in the assembly what is CBI. Had they come out from the sky, they could not do the work even which was done by our ordinary police. So that is why, simply because it has gone to CBI, we cannot say that what is that justice will be taken. So what I want to say that with the court monitoring and investigation team should be formed out, and the investigation team should report all the developments to the court, probably to the High Court. If such an investigation team has been formed under the court direction, I think some justice we can expect. Or otherwise, all these investigation will be going to the dustbin, even in the case of Sushant or in the case of Chitra. That is what my gut feeling.
Okay. All right. One more question before I let others start asking questions. Even Advocate Sonia Raina, she's asking whether the staff seen the body hanging. Now, the question I have is, when I discussed this, specifically this particular case in our last session with the same kind of people, they mentioned that there was a staff person who had been in that room who's still missing, I guess. But did he see the body hanging? Are you even aware of that, or has that person been found who had supposedly seen Chitra hanging?
That is what the CCTV was not available in the hotel. That is the main, because we don't know whether it is a gossip or a reliable confession made by somebody else. But since there is no CCTV uh, camera inside the hotel, the veracity of all such accusations cannot be ascertained by the police. That is why we cannot rely on the statement of some third person that somebody had entered. That's what you are saying. Somebody might have entered into the room. That is what your accusation, isn't it? But since there is no CCTV, that cannot be confirmed by the police. There is also a strong rumor that a minister's son had entered, a politician had entered, and a politician car was found at in front of the hotel. All such accusations are going on. But to corroborate such accusation, CCTV camera or otherwise any eyewitness, they should give the statement. No eyewitness had given the statement that anybody had gone inside or anybody had gone outside, had come outside, other than Hemant Kumar. So such accusation cannot be confirmed by the police. That is why that cannot be relied.
Got it. Got it. Okay, I'll give everyone an opportunity. Isaac, please go ahead. We'll start with you. Any questions to Varun, sir?
Yeah.
Vanakkam Varadarajan sir. Can hear me, right?
You're a little low, but yeah.
Okay, I'm so sorry. So Varadarajan sir can hear me, right?
It's not audible.
Okay, sorry, I don't know why what is happening. My system having an issue. So my question is, let's see. Now the body seems cremated. So we can't, if let's say we want proof or evidence, we want to investigate again, it's solely based on postmortem, and postmortem said it's a suicide, and body is not there. If let's say CBCID involved, so do we? What is the chance of probabilities getting justice? Like how they going to determine it is a suicide or murder based on what? Since postmortem report said it's a suicide.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard the question. I think it's the similar kind of question, sir. So basically, what he's trying to say is, even with the CBCID, when the body is not there, there are no more evidences and anything. How are they gonna, or what special are they gonna do to determine this is like a murder or a suicide or whatever, based on the only whatever remaining proofs or evidences that they have? What is special that they can do? Which I think you partly
Yeah,
answered.
murder is, as I said, even if CBCADA investigates the case, murder is completely ruled out because there is no strong evidence. Number one. Number two, why the CBCAD investigation is insisted? There are some rumors, as we said, minister's son had come, some politicians had come. CBCAD will be doing the investigation in depth on such accusation, whereas the local police station may have so many other responsibilities. They may not concentrate on a single case. Just like the Central Crime Branch, they have also got so many other responsibilities. But CBCID, if they hand over the case to a particular team, other than this case, they will not do anything. So they can do the investigation in a detailed way. But as the friend has said, in the absence of the body, in the absence of the dead body, even if we get some clues, it cannot be corroborated and we cannot get strong evidence. So what I'm feeling is, at least even if we could not get conviction under 302 IPC, we should try to get conviction under at least under 306, for which the 10 years sentence is there, so that Hemant Kumar should go to the prison at least for 10 years. For that, we have to try. Because for abetting the suicide, even that may not be necessary, because Hemant Kumar himself had confessed that there was a strong fight between the two, and he had scolded her, and out of that she had taken the decision. That is what he had given the confession. And the Hemant Kumar's father, Chitra, had sent a message, WhatsApp message, to his father at that time of argument, stating that your son had deceived me. Just like that, there are some messages. By arranging all these small evidences, we can get conviction at least under 306. As the as my respected friend had said, this cannot be, murder is completely ruled out. Even if CBCID investigates, they cannot get any solid evidence. That is true. At least what I'm saying is under 306 CIPC, if it is sent to the CBCID, there is some chance. Because why I'm telling is this Central Crime Branch Police informs to the court that there is not at all any evidence. So that is why if it is sent to the CBSE, there is a chance to get the conviction under 306 IPC.
Got it. So just to add to Isaac's question, you mentioned earlier on, sir, that videography was made a kind of a policy. But I just saw in the chat comments, people are saying that if it's a murder or like this kind of a case, videography is not done as part of the post-mortem. Is that true? Or was videography done?
There is a code for medical officers.
Okay.
There is a code. Medical code is there in Tamil Nadu. According to that medical code says that every post-mortem has to be done by using a videography.
Okay.
That is what, by quoting the code, Madurai High Court has given the judgment stating that according to your own code, medical code of Tamil Nadu, the investigation that any post-mortem should be done by using the videography. So in future, you do all the post-mortem by using the videography. That's what Madurai High Court said. And it was based on the code of medical code prescribed in Tamil Nadu. I think such a code would have been there in all the other states. You have to go through the medical code.
So the question is, was it done in Chitra's case?
Pardon?
Was it done in Chitra's case?
No, it was not done. It was not in all the cases. Videography is not being done. That is what the court says. You are not doing it. As I said, they are doing cut and paste. That is what Madras Madurai High Court condemned. You are doing cut and paste in post-mortem cases. What is this? Only based on your report, we are giving them it. So this is not done in Chitra's case. It is not done. It is not being done in all the death or suicide cases. So post-mortem report should be videographed at least in future all over India, not only in Tamil Nadu, because that will be very useful for getting conviction.
True. All right. Any other question, Isaac, or should I move to Tamil?
Okay, one more question is, why, let's say, common people murdered or died or death, immediately action will be taken. There is a CCTV, there is a photograph thing, and why, if like SSR, Vijay Chitra, the first thing, why the CCTV is always missing? Is it purposely been hidden? From your experience, do you think it's purposely been hidden somewhere? Because if, let's say, the resort doesn't have the CCTV, but I'm pretty sure the roadside has a CCTV. In any countries, I think the entrance, or like a roadside, the junction, T junctions, they have a CCTV, so we can find on what time actually Chitra is reach the resort. Another one more thing is like I think Varun, by you told us about this stuff. Doesn't resort doesn't have any other staff working on the day, or
Right.
and no neighbors in the next room. Like let's say Chitra and Hemant having a fight at late night. If, let's say, if no neighbor, okay, fine. Is there no neighbor at the resort heard something? So if there is a no eyewitness, okay, but there will be some people inside the resort, right? So based on your experience, do you think that this all evidence and proof been hidden for a purpose?
Okay. I don't know if you heard his question. So
I
I'll repeat that. Yeah. So basically, what he's asking is, when it's a case of a common man, you end up finding all the CCTV footages. You will get pictures. You will get everything that you want in a common man case. But when it comes to any kind of celebrity or any kind of big name, all these CCTVs become off, and there's no recording, and So what he's trying to ask is, we can still understand, the resort itself, they can turn off the cameras and all that stuff, and they were not recording. But what about outside of the resort, right? There could be a T junction, there could be a street, there could be other, way from which Chitra would have approached or reached the resort. What about that? That is the first question. The second question is, what about the neighbors? I mean, it's a resort, pretty sure there will be people in the room next door or somewhere. Did someone not even hear anything, about if there's a fight going on or any discussion? And the last thing that he said was, what about other staff? There was definitely, we're talking about one particular individual, but there would be other staff members also who would have known or seen that there were other people who came to the resort. So what about the evidences from them, or any kind of confessions, I would say, or validations from them? So these are three kind of high level items that he's asking.
Because the occurrence was held at 3 o'clock in the 3 a.m. Since the occurrence was at late night, and the police says that there was no neighbors' movement, and even the staff were very limited. Resort staff was very limited. There was only one guy who has been looking after all these things. And since there is a late night, there was no possibility of neighbors seeing the scene of seeing the occurrence or hearing the fights made or the verbal fight between them. Nothing, because nothing was heard by them, because since it was late night, that is what the police says. And the police hotel staff also confirmed that they said, because mostly these total people, what they will do, as soon as a murder or any kind of crime has occurred, they will erase all the CCTV findings, because they are having a belief that if there is a CCTV clipping, we have to go to the court, we have to give the evidence, there will be full of headache. Only for that, most of the resort, those people either they are erasing it or they are making the camera itself ineffective. So they say that they don't have any other camera. Police had investigated and found that yes, they have not used the camera, because it is not a very big resort as you imagine. It is a very small hotel. It is not even a 3-star or 5-star hotel. It is a local hotel, and all the rooms are very small rooms. And what is that? The scenario is also shows that it is a normal hotel. So what you are expecting from a standard hotel, from a class hotel, cannot be found here. And with regard to the other people's observation, police say that since it is late at 3:30, nothing have been heard by others. That is what they claim. So we have to believe that.
Right. Okay. I'm going to move on to Tamil. Please go ahead, Tamil. I think you had.
Yeah, Vanakkam, sir.
Vanakkam.
Yeah. Okay, I have two questions. When official results came as there was no evidence found and there was no injuries were found, but as a common people, when we are looking throughout that death picture, we can clearly see that injuries and there was no neck marks to prove that suicide. Then how come they said that there was no injuries and evidences were not found?
Yes, in the case of neck mark, this is my own submission. Police have not said this. My own submission is, if the hanging is made by a rope, you can find out the strong marks on the neck. If the hanging is made by a sari or a cloth, no such marks can be found. This is my, by using my experience, I'm telling you, that may be due to these reasons also. Police is not telling. So simply because they do not have any mark, we cannot come to the conclusion that it is a murder. So that is only in that way police had totally relied on. Police are totally relied on postmortem. Nowadays that has been happening. Any murder, any suicide, police says that let the postmortem comes. postmortem report comes. Whatever the postmortem report says, they will be proceeding the investigation on that angle. But we have to think whether postmortem is being done in a proper way. That is a very lapse in the system. That has not been done. But police do not bother about it. So this is how, on seeing the postmortem report, they have proceeded that it is a clear case of suicide. But with regard to your question that no marks have been found, and that cannot be taken as a point, because I have seen in many cases where the hanging was made by using a sari or other an ordinary cloth. I have not seen any marks in that. So that is my submission.
Okay, sir. My next question is: there is any chance to reopen this case, sir?
Pardon?
Are there any chances of
There is
reopening the case?
reopen.
Yeah, the case is not yet closed. It's still because they are going to file the charge sheet. So what I am telling is, they say that we don't have any evidence. That is why the submission made by them before the court shows that they have not done the even under abetment of suicide. If they say that there is no evidence, we cannot accept. If they say it for murder, we can accept because the postmortem says something different. But with regard to even abetment of suicide, police says that it is not a case of abetting the suicide. That is why I am asking that it should be referred to the CBCID. So even if it goes to the CBCID, as some of my friends had said, even death cannot be proved because body has been cremated. There is no chance. So Citra's fans should come to the conclusion, should digest the fact that the present scenario is taking the case only to the abetment of suicide, not to the murder. At least even the abetment of suicide, we should try to see that he is convicted at least under that section, 306 IPC. This is the fact.
The minimum. Okay.
One of the cases have been closed.
Yeah. So just to add to what Tamil was also saying, right? I mean the marks and all. Advocate Raina is also saying. So there's another advocate in our chat right now. She's saying there were some marks of body injury that we could see in the pictures, right? But then there's also a fact which is known outside that she did not have nails or something on her hand, on her right hand. Looking at the marks and all, it looks like, as a right-handed person, those marks could not be there. What about those evidences, or what about those things that make it very clear that there was some kind of physical, action there that happened?
Yes, there was a bleeding on her cheeks, which could be found out from the photo. And the postmortem report didn't concentrate on that point. They didn't give any answer on that point. They simply said no external injury. And police says that it may be due to the when hanging, if the person has got a short nail, and while hanging and while putting the knot and everything, her own nail should have caused that injury. That is the version of police. But my friend had said that she doesn't have a short nail. But all these things have to be answered only in the re-postmortem, for which the dead body should be available. Since the dead body itself had been cremated, now even these questions cannot be proved in the court of law. And if there is some small shred of doubt, the court will acquit the person. That is what criminal law says. So that is why all these things, even if it is a solid fact, that cannot be proved. So even if we talk about it, nothing can be done on that point. That is what my assumption.
Okay, Tamil, any other question?
Yeah, my last question is, what will be the next step for this case? It will be moving forward by handling towards CBI, or it will be keeping silence like this? Okay, I don't know if you heard the question. Yeah, what would be the next steps in this case?
Next step will be to transfer the case to the CBCI, because As I said, CBCID is an effective wing. They have got ample experience. Daily, they have been investigating some criminal cases. What is that? Better than CBCID can contribute something. That is why we are moving it to transfer the case to the CBCID first. If the CBCID has not been handling in a proper way, then we can think of referring it to the CBI. Suppose if there is a change of government in Tamil Nadu, there is a change. If we assume the new government will take the issue in a political angle, and they may be referring it to the CBI. That may also happen. But anyhow, as far as the present scenario is concerned, we are trying to transfer the case only to the CBI first. Let us see what they do. If they do not do it properly, let us think of referring it to the CBI.
Got it. Got it. Okay. One question which I'll again add on to what Tamil just asked. Okay. So basically, can the family not pursue this and take it directly to the CBI? In case of Sushant Singh Rajput case, right? I mean, that's what happened was, there was a lot of public outcry. So the two-way question that I have for you is, what about the family, if they can do something about to take it to the CBI? The second is, there was a mass movement, public movement that happened around Sushant Singh Rajput case. What if something similar happens for Chitra, and people, start these different campaigns and start talking more about it? Will that help?
No. What I'm feeling is that Chitra's parents are not educated. Even though her father is a retired sub-inspector, he had come from the lower level, basic constable. In the even he's not such. He's not really. He doesn't know all the basic formalities. So they don't have any idea. They are asking us, whatever you feel good, you do it, sir. So they are not asking for CBI. But as by using my experience, what I have decided is, let us go first to the CBI. Then only we can talk about. If it is a politically motivated case, we can go to the CBI directly. This, as far as the investigation is concerned, there is no political motivation has been found out. So what we have decided is, in the legal angle, let it be referred, because they don't have any knowledge about the legal aspects, both the Chitra's father and mother. So we have advised them, let us go to the CBCID first. Then we will think of referring it to the CBI. With regard to the mass movement, everybody has got sympathy, that's all. That is the moment which you have, because I'm appreciating all of you, because it is a case which had happened in Tamil Nadu. But you are talking it at the all India level, and even from Dubai also, everybody, all the NRI Tamils, they are showing concern in this case. That is to be appreciated, but there is no a chance of creating any mass movement. Because people are supporting. I have been getting so many messages, WhatsApp messages daily from some Citra's fan, stating that I am ready to give money to them. You give the address, you give the account number. We are very appreciating the concern of the fans. But as far as any movement is concerned, and this type of concern is enough for us to go in a proper way. The way you people are encouraging, the way you people or the others are encouraging. The mass movement cannot do anything. Everything has to be done only legally. So we will take it very strongly, and I am going to appear on behalf, because in all the criminal cases, the prosecution side, complainant side, outside advocate will not appear. Only the public prosecutor will appear. What the public prosecutor will do most of the cases, there will be nexus between the public prosecutor and the accused advocate. That should not happen. That is why CRPC 302, there is a provision, 302 CRPC, subsection 2 says that even on behalf of the complainant, a separate advocate can be appointed. So I'm going to appear on behalf of the Chitra, apart from the public prosecutor, to monitor whether the public prosecutor has been conducting the case in a proper way, or whether he gets influence. All these things we are going to monitor. If he makes any lapses, we will be interfering, and we will be taking all the evidences. That is what we have to say.
No, absolutely. And just to add, this is more than an international. This has become a global support, sir. Again, I don't know if I was able to tell you. You see people here from different parts of the world. I am sitting in US right now. There is somebody sitting in Tamil Nadu. There's somebody sitting. I think you're in Malaysia, right, Isaac? And then there's somebody sitting in the north part of India. I mean, this and people are watching globally. So it is not something that an individual is supporting. People across the globe really want to. I wanted to display this message on the screen, and I don't encourage such messages, but I'll just read out what people are saying, and this is the desperation. This is what people feel that we should do now. So there's an individual who's saying we should now come together to bribe the police for good, give them the money, and then they will solve the case. This is the kind of condition we are in. This is how we all feel that the people who we have placed in certain capacity, who should be doing the right thing, are not doing the right thing, and we feel that pain. And this is what a common man feels, that we should just bribe them. In the chat messages, another thing that came up, and I'll tell you, I have put a disclaimer so I can say this thing as well. Somebody is saying we should just get hold of Hemant and literally break his bones to get the truth out. So these are the emotions of common man, that a poor simple person was killed for whatever reason, and now they're trying to just cover this case and finish it off, with and you're trying your best. We appreciate that. So this was really really disheartening. But anyways, Amit, I think you're going to be the last one. I want to be mindful of the time. Please go ahead with your questions, and
Good,
let's.
yeah, good evening, Varunji. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My first question would be like most of the questions have been asked from my esteemed panelists. My first question would be, sir, like if you as well as if we are having an instinct that Chitra's case is clear-cut murder, right? Then why we are considering that whatever the law says or whatever the evidences says or whatever the police report says, we will go accordingly. It can be done with our instincts also. The investigation could be re-investigated again if uh, something permits, because suicide, easy to say, but and it's not so easy to prove because people are raising questions for particular suicide. So my point is why we will consider 306 rather than 302. This is my first question to you, sir.
Yes, they have registered the case only under 306. You say that we have got the instinct that it is a murder. But before the court of law, they are going through the books of law, not based on instinct. They are based on the conviction will be given based on evidences, documents, records, eyewitnesses, medical reports. Only based on all these things, conviction will be given by the court. So instinct cannot play a role in the while convicting a person. And that too, there are so many lacuna in the judicial system. The criminal intent, the criminal act should be proved without an iota of doubt. Even if there is an iota of doubt, court will say that by giving the benefit of doubt in case in the favor of the accused, the person is safeguarded. This is what our judicial system says. And such a judicial system was speaking about the instinct and everything, which cannot play a role for convicting a criminal. And I want to answer another question. It was said that there are so many messages getting there. If you bribe the police, and we can get the conviction. I want to send a message to everyone. Entire police is not correct. There are also weak officers. There are also dedicated officers. And I know so many officers who are very dedicated. Of course, corruption is very prevalent in the police, but there are also some good officers. So the entire police system should not be blamed. And they will also do the job in a proper way. But we should monitor them because they will have so many influences. If said there's some political involvement is there, political person involvement is there, they may get some what is that intervention. So we have to monitor the case. We cannot entirely blame the police. They are also doing the job. And the point is that our system, there are so many lacuna in our system. As I said in the postmortem, there are so many, even in the judiciary, there are so many lacuna. And even if you put some witnesses, they will be doing cross-examination. The other advocate will be doing cross-examination and make it to believe the court that it is a blatant lie. So the judiciary, in all the systems that are lacuna, unless and otherwise we remove all the lacuna, and what is that? Criminals cannot be handled. That is the present system. So I think I know all your concern. I am giving the assurance to all of you that the best will be done in the case of Chitra from our end, from our side. We will be giving whatever the best can be done. We will do that. That sort of assurance I want to give to all the people. And
Perfect.
I also want to thank all the people for your concern and involvement and your sympathy which has been showing in the case.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Yes, Amit bhai. Any
Yeah,
last?
yeah. My second question is, sir, as it has been registered as 306, so family was concerned. I mean, family was 100% convinced that it is 306. They have not given any statement or this kind of that she could not attempt suicide. It could be a murder. Was the family given this kind of statement in any FIRs or any other recordings?
No, Chitra mother, both Chitra mother and father, they are very much sure that she should not have committed suicide because Chitra's mother was talking to her even at the last of the few minutes before the suicide. She was talking, and she claims that she would not have committed suicide for reason one, she is a very bold lady. Reason two, she has been very popular and she has been financially also she has been very so. There is no proper reason for her to commit suicide. That is what Chitra's mother says. She strongly believes that it is a murder. But what we are talking so far is based on evidences and other reports. I want to tell you that even though it is, we are strongly suspect that it is a case of murder, we cannot prove it. The record does not speak that. That is why there is no other go. Only you 306 we can proceed. That is what makes it murder. Simply because I'm saying that it is a suicide case, it does not mean that it is not a murder case. We have no proof. We have no evidences to prove that it is a murder case. That's all. So that might have been a murder, but in some of the cases, when there is no angle evidence, we cannot prove it. Then we should go in the way in which the evidence goes. We cannot go contrary to the evidence, then we cannot succeed the case. That is why it is going in the way of 306. Even for 306, I want to say that 10 years imprisonment is there. Let us get the 10 years imprisonment to Hemant Kumar so that it should be a lesson to others not to involve in what is that, innocent girl's life. That is the message we should give. So we should try to convict the Hemant Kumar, at least on the 306.
Got it.
Yeah. My last question would be, Varun Jila, my last question would be,
Sure.
yes, sir. My last question is, while talking about a mass protest, which we are doing for Sushant Singh Rajput for at least 10 months right now. So that kind of protest would also help in this particular case, because in Sushant Singh Rajput case, this protest was the case. This protest was the only path which bound the governments to convert this case from a police investigation to CBI. That is my point. That protest should be done. It's my view. And what do you think about that? Do you support this kind of protest that it should be done for Chitra as well?
No, and protest will not be helpful in this case because in most of the cases which was referred to the CBI, a case has been filed before the High Court, substantiating the reason for the case to be sent to the CBI. Court will be asking why the case has to be referred. What is the lacuna in the present investigation? We have to prove all these cases because in the case of issues That Rajput case is different. He was a very popular hero in India, but this Chitra case is different. She was acting only an important role in a serial. So that kind of fan backing cannot be cannot be coming in the case of Chitra. That is the one thing. Everybody has got the sympathy, but we cannot form a very big movement because she was an actress in a serial. So that both the popularity cannot be compared. So what we feel is that there's no necessity for sending it to the CBI at present. We have other option. We will try it, and after that we will decide whether to go for CBI. No mass movement is necessary. We can do it in a legal by going through legal way. We can do that, and we will be monitoring the case. If we feel that it is a fit case to be referred to the CBI, we will do that. As far as the present scenario is concerned, let it be going to the CBC because I've got good knowledge about the CBCA, the investigation in Tamil Nadu. They will be doing better. So let it be referred to the CBI. And mostly, High Court is transferring the case only if it involves any political involvement. Only if you feel that there is a political involvement, the present government police cannot do that. Only if you substantiate that reason, it will be referred to the CBI. So at present, what I feel is let it go to ZBA. As you said, no mass movement can be found because she has not got such a popularity in Tamil Nadu. So
Got
this is the answer which I want to.
so yeah, I mean, I understand your answer, sir, and I respect that, but at the same time, I'll just add one thing. When you say Sushant Singh Rajput, I don't think anybody expected this particular movement that we are doing for Sushant to go at such a level. I really never expected, and nobody would have. Sushant, yes, he was an actor in the Bollywood industry, but if you look at it, he was not the Shahrukhs or the Salmans or the so-called biggies. He was a person who was doing great work, no doubt about it, but was not getting the same kind of appreciation and support. So, you never know when a movement becomes such big, uh, be it a simple person or be it a star. So, I feel that's my personal take on it. While you might not agree, which is okay, but I feel, if we can, as whosoever wants to kind of pursue this, we should all do it actually together and make it like a mass movement if possible. So that, again, this is not about a Vijay Chitra, a, a star or a celebrity. This is about a person who has been done injustice. Tomorrow, it could be somebody from my family, it could be somebody from anybody's family. We are all standing here for that injustice against an individual. You mentioned very clearly, you articulated that this family is a very very poor and a very humble family who are not even educated. So that is even bigger problem now, that somebody who doesn't have the capacity, doesn't have the knowledge, doesn't have the power to fight such injustices. That's where the power of the common man should definitely be channelized. That's where we all should get together and push it forward, because like I said, tomorrow it could be my family, tomorrow it could be anybody's family, and if we don't speak for them, that is the problem we had with the Jia Khan. Jia Khan was also a very she had started a career and she was doing okay. She was not a celebrity, but people did not come out and support. But in Sushant's case, things changed. You know, so I somehow feel we definitely should continue following. We should definitely raise our voice. But at the same time, based on what you've told all of us and the knowledge that you've shared today around this case, um, it has definitely not been tagged as 302, which is the sad part. Even though we can see certain things very evidently, at least now what you're saying, at least if we can get 306 done and 10 years imprisonment, that too would be a good example setting. And that's what we should always think about, that it's not about putting somebody behind bar just because we want to get it done. It is all because we want to set an example in front of others Because if we don't set examples, there will be many Hemant Kumars roaming around freely on the streets, doing whatever they want to do, whatever way they feel they can do it. And they will keep on killing people, manipulating people. And this is the sad part of our country. And you also very clearly said one thing, which I really appreciate, you saying that there could be one or two, police officials, cops who could be, corrupt. Don't just tag the entire organization, don't just tag the entire police force they are culprit. There might be some people who would be doing the right thing, and we're just really hopeful that this thing really happens. There is one officer, there is one official who does the right thing, and he helps us in this cause. And it's not about helping, who does the right thing, and getting the culprit behind bar, because that is the need of the hour. Now I really want to just even though we've gone way past what we had decided, just one last question. Maybe crime scene was compromised as the room was clean and even things were folded and kept well. How can that happen in a room where there has been a, like, okay, if we call it suicide, a suicide has happened, how can everything be so clean? And there was also a bottle, a champagne bottle. If you could just shed a little bit more light on those two or three things, that would be great.
Because Chitra's mother had visited the room after 1 month. So after exhausting all the scene of crime investigation, police had cleared everything. I don't know whether the champagne bottle was used by Chitra or the other guy, Hemant Kumar. There is no explanation. Other than that, there was a room, there was a window on the side. And we have to find out whether Hemant Kumar, as he was saying, came through the front door and the room was locked inside, or otherwise he had come through the window and came to the entrance. That is what these two things have to be examined. If there is a champagne bottle, fingerprints have to be examined in the champagne bottle, and all these things. And they have not. The local police station have not done this, because I had inquired with the fingerprint wing, and they said that they have not developed any fingerprints from the window. That is also a lapse. So the when the room was visited by Chitra's mother, everything has been cleaned up by the police. So whatever you are seen, and that was the disturbed scene of crime. We cannot believe that whatever is there. So police had cleaned it. So that cannot be relied. But some more examination has to be done, which they have failed, because I don't want to blame the police, the entire police. This will be happening in some of the cases. I am very sad that it has happened in Chitra's case. Fingerprints in the proper place have not been examined. As a police officer, as an ex-police officer, with my sole experience, I've been telling this. That the entire what is that the scene of crime should have been examined in a better way. And that is also one of the labs made by the local police station.
Right. I know. All right. I think we're gonna end this session. I'll quickly go over Tamil. Maybe any last comment for this case or anything that you want to say.
No, brother. Actually, we should keep on raising our voice. We'll stay positive. We'll get justice, and we should not stop this. That's it.
Movement. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much. All right, Amit, anything you want to say?
Yeah, like I would like to appeal from this platform that we should not stop raising the voices, because these voices make success of any kind of battle, and voices are must for this kind of mysterious depth. So I appeal to each and every Indian as well as in abroad people whosoever is watching this stream. Please united and fight for Vijay Chitra. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, Isaac, brother, please go ahead.
Can hear me right now?
Yes.
Clear, better than earlier, right?
Yes.
So, okay.
Now it's-
Thank Thank you, Varadarajan sir. Thank you so much because your involvement on this Vijay Chitra case and your regular updates on that. So, for everyone who's watching this, please do not stop fighting for the justice, and please do not get demotivated for any reason. Don't believe any false information, and always make sure that you get the correct information from the correct source. And then also pray for Vijay Chitra. Let her soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you so
I
much.
want to I want to make a last word,
Yes, please.
and I know I appreciate all your concern. I know all your feelings, and I assure you, all of you, that we will be, and I will be following the case, and I will try to see that at least Mr. Hemant Kumar has been convicted under Section 306 and sent to jail at least for 10 years. At least I will do my best. And they are very poor people. They say that they cannot give the fees and everything. I said, I need not, I don't want any fees and all. Only on social concern, I am doing this case. I am also informing you, though, I am doing the case, I am appealing the case without getting any single rupee from the Chitra's family. So I will do my best. I am giving the assurance that I will do my best.
Wow, that is amazing. Who does that in this time and age, sir? So hats off to you, and more support and more power. And at the same time, again, I'll be very honest. Not a Chitra fan. I didn't even know about Chitra till the time Yash from the Tamilian, he brought up this cause. So I really want to commend him. But through him, through his platform, through this platform, anything that we can do anytime, just feel free. We are just a message away. And there is another platform, Amit Sarkar AS Media as well, and there are many more. Tamil is here, he runs his. So even on the social media platforms also, we are here to help support this cause as much as we can. But hats off to you, and thank you for instilling a little bit more confidence in us that, whatever will be done as per law, but justice will be served. And I think we'll continue to raise our voice to get justice for people. So on that note, we really thank you for spending this time with us, for educating and sharing the points.
Thank you for all of you. Thank you.
I will see you guys very soon, and thank you so much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, and Namaste. Vanakkam, everyone.
வான்மதி மறைந்திடும் நேரம் தீ விழி தூங்காது அது புயலென மாறும் தேன் துளி மாறாது காலம் ஒரு போதும் மறைந்து விடாது தேடி நீ ஓடு கடந்து விடாது பாரம் சுமையாக இருந்து விடாது இலக்கை உணராத வழி நடையில்